We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Every Point's a Winner for episode number 3. Hopefully we get to 133. Okay, but let's make sure that mic's not in our way here. Is it picking it up? Yes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Scotty, I see you're wearing your Horse's Head Broncos shirt today.
Yeah, crystal ball stuff last week, but I missed out by a couple of points.
The crystal ball shrunk. Why?
Well, I did say my tip was the Broncos were going to give the Roosters a belting.
Yes.
That would put Roosters on the bottom. But look, you did mention in the first podcast about the St George losing to the Roosters 38-0.
Absolutely.
In that grand final. So 38's a lucky number, and it must be for the Storm because even though it was their 23rd straight first-round victory, and I did say that based on previous Parramatta and Storm games, Parramatta would be wanting to impress Coach Rolls, that it may have been in Melbourne, but look, they always play well against Melbourne. Melbourne seemed to drag them. I didn't expect it to be a belting like that. Now, that is the...
You didn't, did you? Remember, you thought that'd be 13 plus, but not that far.
But having said that, 38, that is the 38th time that the Melbourne Storm have scored 50 points or more in a game. Now, that equals the Roosters, who also, in their history, have scored 38 wins where they've scored 50 points or more. So they're equal. Yeah. Yet Melbourne Storm didn't start in 1908 like the Roosters did. So that's pretty impressive from Melbourne Storm. They break a pretty incredible record. That's the 38th time in their short history as opposed to the Roosters where they've scored 38 times, 50 points or more margin. They went on to 64.
That's amazing.
Now, that sort of record, when I've tipped that the Roosters would get belted by the Broncos, I didn't think that Melbourne would be able to surpass that on my crystal ball proposition by 2 points.
I know, talking it was close.
Bees dick.
Well, you're nearly right with the Roosters as well, because they're the other team got thrashed, which is on for and against. Now, you'll as you said, a Bees Willie to. But let's talk about some of the other matches as well, Scotty. I actually thought that the tip of the round came from my Elise Katoa because you nearly got 3-1. Into your Storm boys, because remember there was no value there. So we try and get a bit of value here on Every Point's a Winner. And one of your best I've marked here, Dale Cherry Evans, 4-1. Bookies.
It's still involved. Like, I like spending other people's money. I will say that in that Broncos game, my sister, I spoke to her, Samantha, and she said, I listen to my brother sometimes, as your younger sister does. She put a $1 bet on Selwyn Cobbo.
Okay.
Into Reece Walsh.
Yep.
Into Ben Hunt. And into the Broncos at 13 plus. And she got $26 for a $1 bet.
Mate, fantastic. And that's all we ask for you to spend. Most of our tips, we won't spend more than $26 for the whole week over 2 games. I was unlucky, and I must apologise to Valentine Holmes for putting the curse on you. I said he doesn't miss goals, and how many did he miss for St George against a Bulldog side that went in front at Jubilee, never looked like losing, and then they brought my favourite player on, Jacob Little, and he was so quick. People actually thought it was the halfback.
Well,
how could you see?
He's very little and had a big impression in the second half. I think
big impression.
There's no excuse for St George's weak defence 5-10 metres out. They've got to sort that out.
Tupanua sorted it out for them, didn't he?
It was shocking. I was extremely... They were probably my biggest... And to be honest, we'll talk about your Knights, but I thought for their trial form, and you can't relate to that incredibly...
No, doesn't always line up.
Look, when I looked at the cards, I thought St George at home at Cogra would have been...
I fell into it, and I'm a Bulldogs fan. My late wife was a massive Bulldogs fan, and I've still got a soft spot for them. And going on that, what we're talking about, those players that were introduced, they just haven't quite gelled yet, do you think?
Yeah, they've got a bit of work to do, the Dragons. So I was very disappointed with them. Very disappointed.
Do we give the lemon of the week to their coach or not? Because I think not bringing on Jacob Little when there was massive holes there, I think he makes a big difference. He's got to be utilised more, I believe, and for a longer period.
Yeah, I think we looked at the trial form of the Dragons in the Charity Shield. Souths have got their own problems, and I guess we all fell into that trap. Cogger Ovals, 3 good solid buys, but they've obviously got a lot of work to do to get Valentine Holmes and into the game.
Yeah,
he's out wide. To Gutho was okay. I thought Cookie was a bit quiet. So look,
Cookie was a bit shell shocked. If you watched that, remember I sent you guys all the press conferences. He looked a little bit shell shocked.
Yeah, he was
a bit disappointed.
I think they all expected what we expected, and it didn't come easy. So they got some work, the Dragons.
Absolutely.
The Dogs, look, I think I said that the Dogs probably didn't have enough points in them. They're a good defensive team, and that they would come back to the field this year. Allowing the Dragons to do that to them in the second half shows that, look, they may have come back a little bit, and I think that the 26 points that they scored in that first half, I think that was the Dragons giving it to them rather than being well earned by the Doggies, to be honest.
Okay, well, I just think when they lost Steve Crichton, he cramped up so badly they had to remove him from the field. That's when Little come on and destroyed them. I think it shows good signs, though, for St George going forward.
It does.
How long is it going to take, though, for these sides? Parramatta, we can get to them shortly. But these new sides that have got all the extra players like West, how long do you think it's going to take? It's going to take after the Magic Round or before the Magic Round, Scotty?
Yeah, look, pre-State of Origin. Pre-State of Origin. And that's a lot of improvement. That's why I'm picking them outside the top 8. There's improvement. They go to State of Origin. Tigers will lose Luai. The Dragons won't.
I must mention one thing about Luai. My apologies for interrupting. You did mention, and I nearly fell off my chair, right? You did mention that Luai is going to find it tough. Do you know what he said when the sports commentators interviewed him as soon as he came off?
No.
It was word for word what you said.
Really?
Yeah, he said that was tough. So your prediction last week when you said he's going to find it tough. Well, I nearly fell off my chair when you predicted it 100%, Scotty.
Well, he's got to earn his money now.
Yeah, but you said he's going to think in his own mind, this is not easy. This is not like Penrith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's got to earn his money. And just talking about money, millisecond.
Yeah.
Is Dylan Edwards.
Oh,
is Mr. Brown at Parramatta? Dylan Brown worth 14 mil. Is he worth going to that club and being worth more than Kalaponga?
I don't look. The news I heard.
It's big news.
It is. But the inside info I heard, the guy that was making these had a gun to his head, a literal gun to his head. They said you need to come up with the players we wanted for the new season. He didn't get him, so this is like his saviour. But to me, it's the 10 years contracts. Tell me when a 10-year contract has worked out, please. Apart from maybe Dale Cherry Evans.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Lolo was the last real big one that we looked at and debated, and looked. He's faded towards the end of his career.
Yeah,
playmakers are different though. I think I heard Gus Gould say during the week that they're probably not buying him for the next 3 or 4 years, because if you look at the most talented and best performing halves in our comp, you're looking at guys that are in there just under the underside of 35 years of age. You're talking Reynolds, Hunt, Daly Cherry Evans were all on fire. Were all on fire last week.
Yeah.
And you've got to manage their health, and it's a long season, but they're probably buying Dylan Brown for that later stage of his career, just at 28, 29, 30, 31, when he becomes somebody that's very rare in the market. And we've got rare playmakers in the market. So to get him at that club at his best time, peaking in his career, they probably have to offer a long-term contract of that nature.
I think you're right, but that's a lot of money, Scotty.
They said that was a good decision. It's bringing a marquee player to the club that'll settle someone like Kalen Ponga. will it settle Kalen Ponga, knowing that now that guy's probably getting more, or is getting more money?
It's got to disturb you, if anything.
Well, you'd question your worth, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who wouldn't pay 1.4 for Kalen Ponga on a return hit to go to another club?
Oh, mate, East, I'm sure, are dribbling at him at the moment.
And I heard there is a clause in the Tigers contract as well with Calvin, Lachlan Calvin, this young kid that they're pumping his tyres up, and also Luai, that they can make a decision and are available by November, I think it is. So there's a chance that the West Tigers could lose those two.
Fair dinkum.
Mm.
Wow.
Not be on the market towards the end of the year. So a lot of movement.
Just asking about Luai, did he try and get a clause written into his contract or not?
Yeah, apparently he has a clause, and he's available in November. So, look,
right,
that is what it is.
Yeah.
These clauses, it's just to get out. What's the value of a contract these days?
Yeah, well, in our own contracts, goodness gracious. Can I just mention that we were a bit unlucky with the anytime try score. Remember, I led you into Skeleton for West Tigers?
Yep.
However, Bradman Best had a disallowed try, and there was the double.
I could hear you cheering through. I could hear you cheering my ear off. Before the phone even rang, the message came through when I saw that Best had gone over, and then it rumbled, and I knew you were spewing, bashing your head up against the brick wall because it got disallowed.
Well, it was nearly 10-1, about 8-1. That double, that hurt. Luckily, we got the Elise Qatar one up, and I must thank you for talking me out of Dylan Brown. You talked me out. You said, no, he's going to be doing too much work with all these new players either side of him. And I thought, well, my next in line, as I mentioned last week, was Will Penasini, a prolific try scorer. So thank you at 10-1. Thank you, TAB. Thank you, Scotty. So,
what about your bonus bet? You complained about that.
The bonus bet
killed you.
Yeah, the bonus bet. Don't use bonus bets, folks, unless they're going to give you value for money. But I got another few points shaved off that bonus bet because I used the bonus bet after Valentine Holmes let me down at Cogra, Jubilee, missing those goals. Please, Valentine Holmes, the crystal ball, start following what I'm saying and kick your goals like you used to. Maybe, because we're close to the Botany Bay here, the swirling wind made some of those kicks go off a bit because he very rarely misses.
Well, it could be worse. I think you're playing against South at Wind Stadium this week. You'll get more wind at Wind Stadium right on the ocean there. So you'll have to over-allow for that if you can't kick goals at Cogra Oval.
Exactly.
And I know our good mate PC was spewing.
Was he?
He was spewing that Valentine Holmes all of a sudden is, he's expecting the replacement of Lomax, doesn't miss those goals, and his goal kicking was poor.
Oh, but and can we speak about Lomax quickly? Isn't he out of position at centre? I don't like him at centre. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's got to go to wing.
He's got to go to the wing.
Best winger.
That's his natural position.
It's one of the best wingers in the game, but...
And then you got Moses, who does a perfect little kick to him. Doesn't that make sense when Moses gets back? Scotty, anything else about last week before we go into this week's round?
Look, I did get 4 out of 8 head-to-head, and that's... it's heart and head stuff. I allowed for South to get up against
well, you put me onto that because
short-staffed Dolphins, but I didn't think about the Cowboys either, travelling to Brookvale Oval.
Remember you said you between your heart and your head? Well, he should have thought with his head because his head said Manly and everyone's head said Manly after the first 15 minutes.
But that's what you get from the Cowboys. Like the Dolphins had an excuse. The Cowboys,
they either turn up or they don't.
Yeah, they are super inconsistent.
Super inconsistent. Scotty, Broncos this week. Looking at your beautiful shirt there, your Broncos shirt. Will they continue to be up at the top of the competition with the Melbourne Storm this week?
I think you've got to back the Broncos. Look, they're at $1.21, and the Raiders, they are good money at home at $4.45. Like, that's huge.
If you want the overs,
you did mention, and you did mention just before the podcast started that the Raiders. How are you feeling about the Raiders? And I said, well, they've had a week off, but at this early stage after a long pre-season, I think to have a week's rest will keep you a little bit rusty out of it. It's almost coming into the round 2 with still pre-season form. So the Broncos have got that one under their belt. They'll be super confident. I'm tipping the Broncos. I don't think the Raiders should be as long odds at $4.45.
Oh, okay.
at home. They seem to always have a real good result against the Broncos,
Right.
and especially at home. I would.
So what are you thinking? You think it could be like a really close one, eh?
Look, I'm thinking that I'm going Broncos 12 points,
Okay.
10 to 12.
You wouldn't think it's going to be a thrashing either side?
No. I think, what did I hear the commentators, Andrew Johns, say the other night? I think that Madge Maguire would be telling his Broncos players to pull their heads in.
Madge Maguire, did he mention that, did he?
Mm.
Wow,
The
interesting.
coach would be pulling the players' heads in. But the way Payne Haas destroyed...
Oh, how good was Payne Haas?
If he's not the best forward in the game.
He's got a... Mate, he was lethal. He's quick too.
That
The run.
That offload when he was inches off the ground, falling two tacklers on him, close to the line, and for Corey Pace to score. That was just awesome.
Yeah, phenomenal. So getting on to this week's round, we're starting off with the you were disappointed in the, as much as probably I was, with the Knights on the weekend. It was very scrappy. There was a couple of really good players that stood up. The young winger,
awesome.
How good is he? He's quick too. Schiller.
Yep.
He broke away a couple of times. And I have to say one thing about Fletcher Sharp. The guy's a mad work animal. He doesn't care what position he plays. And yes, I know they're still sorting out their halves and what have you, but I really like him. And of course, he scored, and he nearly scored a second try as well. And there's good odds at 7-2.
Yeah, look, look, you got this, both Saifidis are in this week, I think. Are they? Let me just have a look.
Oh, one of the Saifidis left went to the Dolphins, and they're playing each other, aren't they?
Yeah, so you got Jacob Saifidi, and
that's right. It's the first time the brothers will meet on opposing sides.
So look, and Daniel obviously at prop forward there, but look, I actually think with the Dolphins side having those players back this week, I'm actually tipping the Dolphins against Newcastle at home. I don't think the Newcastle side looked real good last week.
They didn't, but
they fell over the line, and I think that was the inability of the Tigers to close a game off.
Whilst I respect your comment, I think a dirty win is associated with Newcastle. They have a few dirty wins. Good sides have dirty wins, but they're going to need to improve from the players they got. They can score all over the park, and that's what threw you off with a 13+. I thought the same. I thought it'll be tight early, and then we'll see.
And they'll run away.
They'll run away with it.
They just didn't, and they just scraped home. Look, I think.
But this is at home. It's a big help, I think, being at McDonald's.
Newcastle have to play better.
Yep.
I don't think the Dolphins need to play any better. I thought they were pretty good and probably a toss of the coin.
Well, South make you scrappy, don't they?
Yep.
They're real scramblers.
I just think this is, especially with Tom Gilbert back in the side for the Dolphins.
Well, they got quite a few back from that the tragedy of last week.
Cody Nikorima. Look, I just...
They've got good players. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm going...
What about the game, just quickly, last year, where it was basically a decider who would get in the Dolphins with the Knights, and it was something like 14-8 or 14-6. It was a great game. Great game.
Bit of an experience cost them, but look, I think the Dolphins will win, and I think they're a 2-try better side than the Newcastle Knights at home this week. That's my tip.
Okay, I'm going against him. I think it'll be a tight one, and I think the Knights will hold the ball a bit more.
I think for try scorers, I'm looking at Jermaine Osako this week. I don't know what the odds are for him, but on Jermaine.
I did have my phone around here.
He's always just under the $2. He's pretty good, and look, the tussle will be interesting in the centres. You've got Jake Averillo and Herbie Farnsworth up against Dane Gagai and Bradman Best.
I get the totes up, bro.
I think
you're switching off Best because he did a double movement.
No, look, I'm going Jermaine Osako into Dane Gagai and into Herbie Farnsworth.
Dane played really well last week. He really put his body on the line again. Okay, that's a good tip.
I think you're missing.
Who are we missing?
You're missing a 5/8 that can get that ball spread to your centres.
You don't like Cogger. You don't like him. He's a little workhorse. And you think Fletcher Sharp? You don't rate him?
No,
I do. I do rate Fletcher Sharp because he's got the speed and the tenacity as well. Okay, might come back to that one with my try scorer. I'm just getting the TAB up online so we can have a look at some of the odds here. Let's go back to that game. Yeah, okay. So the Newcastle $1.55, Dolphins 2.45. So that's would you take them head to head then at the 2.45?
Yeah, easy.
And what was your try scorers one more time?
Masako.
Asako. Oh, the winger.
Masako,
the winger. Okay, you're going to get odds on there, I think. Let me just double check. First try scorer. We don't want that. Okay, we want Jermaine Asako. No, not too bad. 2.05.
Into Dane Gagai.
So 2.35 into 2.05 into Dane Gagai. Gags is about 2.50. They haven't risked him because he has been known to score once every couple of games. So let's have a look at that. You don't like any of the forwards to score for like Marshall King or Nichols or Plath? He's a good player. No. So let's have a look at that. Leo Thompson, you don't like him at 6-1?
No.
So you're not tipping anyone for the Newcastle Knights to score?
No.
You're switching off Best.
I'm off Best and I'm in the Gagai.
Okay. I'm still looking for Dane's price here because they've got the best. They've got the smallest odds to the biggest odds. They've changed it up here on the TAB. Gags was about 270 last time I had a look. So let's get on. Let's get on to the next game, Scotty, which is, and that was the Thursday, which is tonight's match. I'm looking forward to that one.
It's a Friday night's game, early 6 p.m. over in New Zealand. We've got the Warriors up against the Seagulls on the Seagulls form last week.
Crikeys.
And the Warriors, how disappointing they were.
Can they bounce back?
No, I don't think so. I think they're still in pre-season mode. They've got big problems. They were disappointing in the first game.
They were awful.
And I can't see them. Look, they're paying $3.28. The Seagulls $1.34. They're healthy. A lot of those Seagulls like travelling over to New Zealand too. So, look, I'm tipping 13 plus for the Seagulls. They looked very impressive. I thought amongst probably the Melbourne Storm Broncos, the next most impressive team for round one was the Seagulls.
The last time they met, Scotty, was 24-10 last year.
Where was that?
That was at Pines Park. Is Pines Park the old Jubilee, the old Brookvale Oval or not?
Not sure.
Not 100% sure about that one. Okay, so you don't think the home crowd will lift? They usually get pretty vocal.
No.
Scotty?
No. And, look.
So are you saying 13 plus?
Yep.
Eagles.
I did get Kurt Capewell last week.
Kurt Capewell? Oh, well, we let him into that
one. First try for the Warriors.
I don't know whether it was the first one. Oh, in the trial he scored, didn't he? I don't know. You're throwing me out here. But I'm just having a look at... No, I'm trying to focus on the first try. Do you want any time try scorer? Any time try
scorer is nice and easy. So it's your risk if you want to pick him first try scorer.
No, it is. But you snagged that Jesse Raymond at 27-1. First time
Saab
try
last
scorer.
Week for Manly. I picked Saab.
Your best one was the triple. You had Saab into Daly Cherry, and there was one other short price one as well.
Turbo?
Yeah, no, Turbo didn't go over. His brother did. Now, I did leg you up with Ben. Ben does score more tries.
Yep. Oh, Benny, yep.
Yeah, Benny. And Benny was good odds. So if you could have snagged that treble, that was a good one. But, yeah, double was still pretty good because Darcherry Evans was a great price at 4-1. Are you going to go? Who are you going to go for anytime try scorer here?
Anytime try scorer. I'm looking at Jason Saab again into. I'm looking at Murata Miyakura from the Warriors. He's in the second row.
Do you want me to tell you what the prices are?
Yeah, and into Turbo.
So you're going to have a treble?
Yep, and I think Manly are odds on to win this.
Can I mention one thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think with our trebles, because it's not easy to get three unless it's a whitewash. You don't think it'll be a total whitewash? You think it'll be a good score, but not a total whitewash?
I'm tipping Manly 13 plus.
You are. So therefore, you'll go for the treble. On my experience, having doubles and trebles, you get a lot more doubles than you get less odds, but the trebles are harder to get.
Mhm.
You always miss out with that one leg. You get, you know. So I think you can also split your bet. So you're going Saab as your standout, so you can split the other two that you like. Nrl-Nrlw. Okay. And just looking at you're switching off Dale Cherry to score again. He's still 375 to score.
It's good value. You can throw him in.
Throw him in.
He just keeps going.
But that'd be a third leg, like a three different doubles. Okay.
13 plus, mate. 13 plus there.
Can you see what Nrl-Nrlw score? Oh, I can see. 5-1. So there's your value, folks. Sub into Nrl-Nrlw. That's pretty good. That's probably about 6-1.
And then into Manly, 13 plus or head to head.
13 plus. Okay. Well, so there's your tip there, Scotty. I do like. He's got me anytime try score a few times. Is it who plays in the centre? Kohler, is it? Tola?
Yep.
Tolatu Kohler. I like him at 275.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say our man from last week who didn't let us down with a try scorer, the big fella, Capewell. Okay, so there's a bit of value there for you, folks. I'm only going 2. I'm not that invested in that game. I think it'll be an interesting game, especially over there. If they score first, the Warriors, Tuivasa Sheck could be a third leg for mine if you legged him in. You're not going to get value with Tuivasa Sheck, but everyone's going, get him off the wing, but I don't know. Let's see how he goes. I think he'll score again.
He's got to get involved.
He's got to get involved, yeah. But that's why people want him off the wing.
Next game is the same.
Next game, buddy?
That's Panthers and Roosters at Combank Stadium. The Roosters, again, are going to cop another flogging. Panthers at $1.06.
Well, hang on, that's shorter than Melbourne. We're $1.10. That's Kingston Town after winning 27 straight Sydney races.
And it says here
$1.09.
It says here for Sportsbet that Roosters are paying $9.50.
Oh my God, I got $7.50. You're on Sportsbet. Okay. Wow.
She's another blowout. They can't recover. They might get a pullback 30 points from last week's result against the Broncos, and the Panthers are just as good, if not better.
Were you impressed with that young fella, Toy?
Yeah, he's very
Toya.
He's very impressive.
Very, very, very quick.
And Victor Radley's out right from the start.
Can you believe?
Took him
what's he done? But what's he done now?
He's concussed or something. He's concussed. He's out mandatory.
Automatically, yeah. But he might be out for longer, mate. How many times has he been concussed?
Well, that seems to be.
Has he nearly got to start wearing a headgear?
All the Roosters get concussed.
What about the coach? I did say to you, did you see his press conference that I sent you?
Yes.
It wasn't impressive. It was like he was shell-shocked, but expecting some sort of shell shock.
We've still got a lot to learn. I'm happy and proud of the boys. You can't punish the boys with that sort of scoreline, but well,
that's a bit soft. I'm sorry, Scotty. We did say he's a good coach, and I think he was or he is, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, bro.
We currently live in a soft world.
I think you're right.
Seriously.
Thank God
if you're one of the two teams on grand final day and the grand final are the winners and you're saying they're the best, just to make the Wooden Spooners feel okay, you've got to give them like a participation certificate.
Oh, yeah, don't go on about that.
Worry, yeah. You know what I mean?
Let's get the Woke Society and trash it to pieces.
Oh, please.
Okay,
please.
Thank you.
So 13 plus Roosters, and look, last week Dylan Edwards on Tohol's back, and I like Tohol.
13 plus Roosters against Roosters.
Sorry, against Roosters, Panthers, and I'm looking at
30-10 last time they met in the qualifying final.
Yeah.
So there was 20 points there. So who are you going for the try scorer, bro?
I'm going Tohol for the Panthers.
$1.50, not good. Who are we going to link it with? You need a bit of value there.
Dominic Young.
Dom Young.
Roosters.
Well, that was our double from last time, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to open up this page more. Dominic Young. Tupou's good odds because he hasn't scored for like 275.
And I'm going into Isaiah Yeo.
How good? Okay, can we talk about Isaiah Yeo? How good was he to score when he just shimmied off his leg and went over between the posts? Saw the big man from Cronulla, their new buy. What's the new buy? The big fella that scores for me regularly. He came from the Warriors with a beard. He scored.
Fisher Harris.
No, the other guy.
Capel.
No,
Who?
I can't remember his name at the moment. We'll get to
give
him.
you the heads up. If you don't know, how can I know what you're thinking?
Cronulla just bought him from the Warriors, bro. A giant. He's supposed to be one of the best forwards in the league. You can't think of his name.
I can't think of his changing clubs.
He scored under the post with just amazing strength.
You know, I do have a job on top of this. Like, I can't just sit at home and watch every second of every game.
I expect you to.
I watch just the highlights.
I expect you to watch everything when you come in here on EPOL. Okay. But Isaiah, yeah, let me just say to you, that was phenomenal. Alfonso, what's his name, that guy? For goodness sake. I need someone in my headphones, my producer, saying what his name was. So go to Cronulla and find out what his name is. He's come from the Warriors.
Fanua Blake.
Fanua Blake, sorry. But Fanua Blake. He held up Fanua Blake, mate, because he saw him a little bit out of position, a little bit on the side. How good is Isaiah Yeo as not just a leader, but a fast forward that gives 80 minutes?
It's a quality player, quality leader.
Is he not one of the best in the league?
Yeah, he's one of the best leaders in the game.
Absolutely. And you're putting him in to score here, are you?
Yep.
At 375, so to good double game. Up from last week.
Yep, especially with the loose ruck that the Roosters had last week. I reckon that'll be another cricket score. I will be surprised if there's not a 30-point gap between the two.
Well, at least you've got a bit of odds there with Isaiah, which is helping your $1.50 shot. Sorensen doesn't score much. Jack Cole, expecting him a bit more from him. Tell you what, I looked at their bench. Have you seen their bench? Geez, they've got a good bench.
Mm-hmm.
And what about, so you're going Dom Young, 250, a bit of value there. So he's the only one you're putting for East?
That's it.
Okay, mate.
He's a guarantee.
I'm going to stick with you there. If you're going to have a specky and split your bet up, I've just got a feeling that Toya might score at 450. But I'm just giving you a bit of value, that's all. So, Scotty, let's move to the next round. So 13, I'll agree with you there, 13 plus. I can't see Penrith switching off at any stage.
Not at this stage, and they will need good form running into round 3 because the Melbourne Storm have the bye this week and they play the Panthers next week.
Nurse, more morphine, please.
So that'll be a good gauge as to how far Panthers have dropped back and how hungry the Storm will be. That's a cracker for next week. Melbourne Storm.
That is
on the week's break.
That could be the game of the week
against the Panthers, and I just want to make sure.
The game of the week, mate.
Looking at that. And it is on Thursday next week, and it is in Melbourne.
Oof. Oof.
And I'll tell you now, the odds at the moment is Melbourne are paying $1.49 and the Panthers are paying $2.63. So the competition favourites.
There's a bit of value there with the Panthers. Let's see how they go after this game anyway, before we comment next.
So anyway, the next game.
The next game is St. George and South. This is, mate, I saw this going to extra time. I'm sorry. But my little oracle here, you're the oracle, actually. They're calling you the oracle. I had a few friends saying, is that guy the oracle? After he's just last week.
Can I have the oracle?
Yep.
And we got the small one.
You want the big one?
Yeah, I want the big one. The big support this
That's
week.
the crystal ball.
The big support this week, the crystal ball stuff is Dragons will support the $1.48 at Wings Stadium.
Hang on.
In Wollongong against the Rabbits at $1.45. I'm tipping them to win head-to-head. They are specials to beat the Rabbits this week.
All right. So you think it's finally going to gel for them?
They will bounce back.
Okay. Well, I reckon the only way that's going to happen is if they put Little on a lot earlier. I just love him as a player. And after seeing him last week, he was devastating. I don't know where you got your odds from because I've got $1.90 both of them, and I'm
Well,
$1.45.
Sports Tab is
Well, so they're serious.
they got the Dragons at serious $1.48 favourites, and they got long shots Rabbits at 267. $2.67.
Have a look at that. $1.90 each.
Yeah, well, I bet that changes.
Actually, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at the line bet, but no, but it's $1.47 there. The money's going with Saints.
So this week, I'm going Saints head to head.
Yeah.
I can't see them winning 13.
Are you going to hang on? Head to head's $1.47. That's worse than taking any time try scorer.
Well, there's no point going for South because they're no chance in winning this game, as far as I'm concerned. The Rabbits.
What if you gave them a bit of overs and went the overs unders?
No, I don't rate South. The only reason they won
last week.
Only reason they won last week is because the Dolphins had 5 players out.
Can we mention how great it was to see Campbell Graham back?
Yeah, it was good to see any player back. We don't want any players suffering injury. We want the best players on the park.
But what a tackle! How good was that tackle? The guy's a monster. Broken sternum and everything, and he's come back, and that's a good way to test out your sternum. I can give you the heads up. Valentine Holmes, he let us down last week. Who are you going for your anytime try scorer?
Anytime try scorers this week. Well, and I don't know how you pronounce it, but Christian
Chiapolotto.
Yeah,
Chiapolotto. I must mention something about Chiapolotto. He carried on like a bit of a, can I say arse?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Saints were coming back into the match, but I think he carried on a bit. Yeah, he's getting the crowd into it. I guess that's what he was looking for. But when you're doing this, like for the money,
it's pork chop status.
It's not good, is it?
No,
it's not. It's not quality. I'm hoping that their coach calls him in and said, "Listen,
He was rampaging.
Pull your head in.
Rampaging.
But
Holmes
did those beautiful passes to him. May I say those 2 tries by the Satili Tupanua are phenomenal on the burst. How lethal is he on the burst? He was. I did mention that Canterbury didn't make any good buys. They did buy Leo Thompson, so I think that's a good buy for next season.
Mm-hmm.
But after the weekend, I think he's a great subby, Tupanua. I think he's lifted since he's left East. So who are you going there, bro? You're going to go for Tupanua?
Yep.
And who are you going to leg him with? Because he's long odds on here.
And I like Campbell Graham. So second run up, I'm going Campbell Graham.
He let me down last week to score.
Yeah, he won't this week.
All right, 3-1. So there's a bit of value there for you folks. $1.70 into 3-1. Can you give?
You know who I was most disappointed with last week for St.
George? From South? Oh, St. George. Yeah.
Jack de Belin.
Jack de Belin. He did a lot of big hits.
He had one big hit.
Yeah, and then
he's got one highlight reel. At the moment, I think he's still recovering from. I reckon his career just from everything that happened, he just hasn't come back as good as what he did. He sat out of the game for a while, and I like a forward that can really punch holes.
Can we talk about Little? Let's look about Little then. Punch holes.
I'd bring Jack de Belin off the bench and give Little a start.
Thank you. Can I shake your hand on it? Man's thinking. Thank you. And I never usually shake hands with the Bronco, but you're my mate, okay? So I really respect you. Oh, mate, what a fantastic idea. And just bring him on as a hard hitter when Little's had enough, and then bring Little back on for the end of the game.
Well, he won't want to wait till the score's 26-0 before he wants to bring him on and make some changes.
So well, he already got the lemon of the week for that.
Yeah, so Flanagan's just got to... He's just got to make those changes quickly enough and see the demeanour of the players. But I'd inject that sort of status right from the start and try and demoralise South and get a kick on early.
Okay.
They can't keep coming back from behind. They're not going to transfer that second half into the first half without making some serious changes. They've still got a balance to work on.
You don't see this as a grind? I see this as a little bit of a grind.
I think St. George are two tries better. I think it won't be 13 plus, but I think they're a good 12.
So 1 to 12 Saints?
1 to 12 Saints.
Okay. Well, can you listen to my anytime try scorers?
Yes.
I'm just going to have 3 players, but I'm going to have your two splits with your main standout. So my main standout, I'm this is going to kill you, but because I might have asked you last week whether he was too small or too big, I'm going to stand out Jai Gray. I thought he had a fantastic game for a man of his stature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stand him out into. We're going to go. So it looks like Sloane's got to run on the wing
bench.
here. On the bench. Yeah, I'll just put him in second here. So yeah, we might get a run here, but he's $1.75.
Well, I've got Sloane sitting at jersey 19 in the reserve.
No, you're right, brother. Yeah. So whether he gets a run,
he might not get enough time on the park, mate, to score.
Yeah, that's
as quick as he is. But then,
well, that's the thing. If you back these players that are bench players, you've got to watch out for that. Yeah, they're going to get enough time to score. That's the thing. Unless they're, one of those guys that can come on and score instantly. So I'm having Jai Gray as my as one of my legs, and I'm going to go the big dude. I'm going to put him in with Jacob Little.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to have the second leg with Jai Gray into, it's not that Tonga guy. Let me just get down to his name. Luciano Luella. Is that, how do you spell it? Leilua. Yeah.
It's not how you spell it, it's how you say it. But
yeah, that's what I meant to say. Luciano Leilua. I don't know how the commentators do it.
I can't even say Isaiah Yo. I just call him Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo. Yo.
Hey, Yo-Yo.
He is, mate. He runs like a yo-yo. It's very, very hard to catch.
I love the old yo-yo, the Coca-Cola ones. Walk the dog, hey?
Fanta weren't as good. The Coca-Cola ones were the best.
Remember
see-through ones.
The see-through ones in the red in the Coca-Cola. And in wet days, you could walk up behind your mate and hit it and let it spin, and then put it in the puddle and flick the water up against it and stain it. Hey?
You got up to all sorts of trouble at James Cook. A big shout out to Slavko. Hopefully he's tuned in.
Hey, Stav. How are you, mate?
He's very, very happy with EPAW. Can we just mention for people to comment, subscribe, because we need a little bit more interaction. So
we're still learning. We're still learning.
Of course we are, but please subscribe, hit subscribe and like, and leave comments as much as you like. If they're bad comments, we'll deal with them. Trust me. Can you deal with bad comments?
Yeah, I can. And
it's as long as they're constructive.
Let's be open about it. I've been chasing and looking at a lot of podcasts lately on the league to just give myself in the car a little bit of more, I guess, intelligence from those that know better. And a guy who I thought was a real big buffoon was Willie Mason. But I'll tell you what, I see the way he speaks at the moment. He is frank, he's honest, he's upright in everything that he says. And I'll tell you now, he is honest. He's been on the field. He knows the game. Him and James Graham's another good one, James Graham. But if you can get onto Facebook and have a look at what Willie Mason said about Payne Haas this week and about his motor and engine, he was phenomenal.
I respect Willie Mason there as he's on the Levels podcast, and he was one of the main inspirations behind me.
Really?
Yeah. Watching that show, I thought, okay, might not be as good and as professional and as knowledgeable, both being good players, but Scotty and I love our football, and I thought, let's do it.
Yeah, he's spot on.
So he was the inspiration for me.
He throws a lot of F-bombs, but that's okay.
We like to keep it clean here on EPAW. Every point's a winner, because
I keep it clean. Whether I'd like to or not, it's a different matter.
But I think if it's in context, where it's not just some. I've seen a couple of podcasters out there that just blurt out F every couple, and it just to me it looks a little bit unprofessional.
I'm reserved in my nature these days. What's acceptable this week's not acceptable next week.
His missus in Young's coming. Yeah.
Let's get on to the next game, mate.
Scotty.
Let's talk about another decision.
I'm not going to give you my second leg. It was Jai Gray into the big fella and Jacob Little. So did you get that?
Yes.
Let's go on to the next.
You're writing it down, but
yeah. I just want to ask you a question. Is Talanoa Tiana Penatani's brother?
Oh, look, I don't have a family tree in front of me.
Why don't you
do a bit of research?
Why don't you
put a gun in my head?
Why don't you?
Come on,
Why don't you?
Do a bit of research.
Why don't you?
Put a gun to my head.
Why don't you?
Come on, let's get on to more disappointment, because I will put a gun to my head like I did last week after the Cowboys' performance, and I don't think anything is going to save the Cowboys. Sharks are here at $1.35 head-to-head. At the 5:30 game on Saturday against the Cowboys at $3.25. The Cowboys are at home.
Is that going to make a difference, Scotty?
Well, no, not really. The Sharks travelled to Las Vegas and they were switched on. I thought they were well prepared, and they were only one try away from beating the Panthers.
So close.
No. So, based on that form, I'm with the sports bet here, and I can't see Cowboys recovering.
26-18 last time they met.
Yeah,
that was in the semi-final, of course.
Yeah,
and they just had too much class. I think they're going to have too much class as well. The last time Cowboys beat them was back in round 21 of last year, 30-22. That was a really good game, if you remember. And since then, it's just been Cronulla 42-6, 22-18, 36-19. And so the matchup, it looks pretty one-sided here.
I'm thinking that.
What do you think?
Is their coach Todd Payton for the?
Wasn't he shell-shocked? Did you see that? I sent most of these guys, our two good mates here, Scotty and the other Monster Cup tipster and champion, current holder, title holder, Peter, and he looks shell-shocked. What could he say after that performance? Couldn't say much, could he?
I think he's starting to sound a bit like Brad Arthur. He's got no answers for their inconsistency. And I did say last week that the Warriors' performance already put the Warriors coach under spotlight. So he's the first coach they're talking about who has probably a real loose grip on his role. And I think the next
is a cone for a hat.
I reckon. Yeah. I reckon the next cone hat and coach up for question will be Todd Payton up at the Cowboys. I think he's under a bit of pressure.
Okay.
Especially with his roster.
I made a few comments about this game. There's a couple of... I'm going to do the try scorers first, Scotty.
Yeah.
I really love Britton Nakora because he's always hanging around he's a little bit like, reminds me of Elise Katoa. Mm-hmm. He's hanging around where the action is, and he's fast. He's very, very good player. Britton Nakora, and I'm going to double him into Mr. Stone Street. I don't really like your name, sir, but you can't help what you're christened with.
Stone Street.
Stone Street, yeah, man. I just come for this. No, but anyway, I'm getting to a serious point. He's a pretty fast winger, and he's a bit of a prolific try scorer. You'd be surprised. He was unlucky not to score the last match. And I'm going to topple him into one of your tips from last week, Jordan McLean.
Yeah.
He's a reserve, but if you want to go the shorters, and one that I think will definitely score is the other winger, Murray Talagi.
Yep.
So Britton Nakora and Sydney Stone Street he was an actor, I think, Sydney Stone Street. Sorry. Into Murray Talagi, and as a backup, because you don't know how much time he's going to get, your Jason McLean.
And who's your head-to-head? Who are you telling this one? Sharks?
Mate, Sharks by 50. No, I'm only joking. It's up there, so they will pick their game up. I think Sharks by 20 at least.
No, well,
what are you saying? The margin. What are you saying?
I'm saying
close.
I'm saying 13 plus.
Yeah, but not
less than 15.
Okay, so that's where we differ.
Oh, I think this will be.
Is it because you're a massive Tommy Did fan like me or not?
This could be something like maybe 28-14.
Okay,
something like
similar to their scores in the past.
Yeah. Oh, look, they're both good attacking sides, but I mean, Scott Drinkwater is my anytime try scorer.
Okay,
but after last week's performance, he needs to probably drink petrol rather than drink.
Oh, what was that?
He was nowhere. He needs to drink petrol. Not drink water.
Goodness gracious!
But I'm tipping Drinkwater to bounce back.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Jesse Ramian again because he's just he just tops me up a little bit and he's well worth it.
Good of a player is this guy? Should he not be wearing? Can he wear State of Origin or not?
Oh, he's probably capable, but there's better players ahead of him than that.
But I just think he's consistently good.
So is Nicholas Hines, but it doesn't make him a good State of Origin player, does it?
Goodness gracious. There's still question marks on, is this the game? Is this the game where he lifts
You're talking Crichton and Best in New South Wales, and on top of that, you could have another fellow in Katoni Staggs, and you're saying that this bloke can play State of Origin. Well, he's probably capable. There's better players ahead of him.
I just think...
And that's only 3.
But I just think he gives every week, Scotty. I'm not saying... I'm just saying, this is the thing. How do you get into the side?
So what you do is you hope the selectors are going to... And I'm going to go into the archives now. I was at the Sydney Cricket Ground in a State of Origin game.
Yep.
And there was a player that played for New South Wales who they picked from a regional country team.
Yep.
And his name was Philip Duke.
The name's familiar.
Yeah. And it's familiar because the State of Origin was won by Phil Sigsworth and
There's
Philip
a name
Duke,
for you,
who had the mix-up in the in goal with inexperience.
Yep.
And Wally Lewis slipped on the loose ball in the in goal and scored the try to win the State of Origin.
Oh,
but they picked...
There were some painful moments for New South Wales fans.
Never to play again. Never to play again.
Never saw him again.
Never saw him again. So just because...
He was like an apparition.
Just because they play well at that level doesn't mean there's not serious bunch of players. And even the best player in the game, supposedly, Nathan Cleary, has still not mastered...
You don't think he's the best player in the game?
He may be in the NRL, but has he mastered State of Origin?
Well, not yet.
Daly Cherry Evans...
He's always injured.
Right? Whipped his ass at that level. Whipped his ass.
Fair enough.
Moses...
Why the Americans sounding ass?
Eh? Denver Broncos, see, it's the accent change. Denver Broncos, Brisbane Broncos. You've got to change the accent.
The Las Vegas...
Whipped his ass. Whipped his ass, right? Moses performed better in the State of Origin series last year than what in a series Cleary has produced. Cleary yet has to produce at State of Origin for me to be regarded as the best player in the game.
Okay, I'm sort of with you there. But Penrith have that formula that it's nearly like they go into machine mode. And I'll tell you who does it as well, and they did it to St George with that big kicking game of Burton. They pin you in your own... If they're stuck, if they can't get out of their own 20, they come up with that massive kick from Burton, and you're always working out of your own 10-metre yard.
Luai's gone. Cleary says, well, Luai's gone, yes, but we've got young people coming in and we've still got the process. Now, if the process falls down because those players don't adapt to the process or are not as good as the Luais when they leave, they don't have to rely on Nathan Cleary. Now, Nathan Cleary...
But it's not just Cleary, it's the whole spine.
He continually on his own can win and lose games. He nearly lost the game for the Panthers in the grand final against the Broncos and then redeemed himself. He let in 2 tries and got smashed by Ezra Mam. And then he goes in at the last 10 minutes and turns the game. But he hasn't done that at State of Origin. And representing Australia, you might as well play the catch kids under 15s. You know what I mean?
If I put a gun, a literal gun to your head, would you say that Moses is a better player around the park?
No, not in NRL consistently. But I think Moses has probably got he's got a harder edge for State of Origin, and I think he proved that. He's got the runs. Definitely. He's got more runs on the board in State of Origin representation than what Cleary has.
Okay. Oh, I'm not denying you, mate. Your computer's just gone into sleep mode. Any comment about that game? Because you haven't given me your try scorers yet for that game.
Yeah, so my try scorer, drink water.
You are going drink water?
Yeah, I'm going Thomas Dearden and I'm going Jesse Ramian.
All right. So you're getting value. I'm glad you've starting to give us value, Scotty, because you gave us a couple of really odds-on shots last week. Apart from Daly Cherry Evans was your golden slipper tip. That was a fantastic tip. That really was.
And into the Sharks.
Into the Sharks? Yeah, not $1.47.
13 plus.
Oh, 13 plus. Okay. All right. Can I mention my try scores for that one?
Mm-hmm.
I already did. Yeah, Brett and Nakora. Yep.
Saturday night, we've got Broncos and Raiders down there. I did say the Broncos probably 1-12, even though they're $1.21 short odds. But
do you think playing in the night, Scotty, does create a bit of create a little bit of moisture with the ball?
The ball will be very slippery, but it was slippery in the wet. It pissed down rain against the Roosters in Sydney last week, 2 minutes before the game started.
Yeah, someone said that.
You saw Reece Walsh trying to run the arcs, and he was falling and slipping all over the place, but they still put 50. I think the defence of the Raiders is a lot better than what the Roosters can offer.
For sure.
On that first performance in round one from the Raiders and what they did to the Warriors, I'm tipping the Raiders on that stronger edge of the cusp of the 8. I think they can make the 8.
Oh, well, you were agreeing with me from last week.
Because I think
that's what I mentioned last week, the Oracle.
Their performance sustains 8th spot over your Newcastle side.
Oh, look, no doubt about it. But I think these younger players that they've been nurturing for the last couple of years, like the Sebastian Chris's and do I have to mention it again? Xavier Savage.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just coming into their own now. And Hudson Young, how do you rate him, mate? He got into the Australian side.
Oh, he's a great player. He's a great player. Well, I'm looking here, and there's no Savage for the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we've missed him. Is there in and out there? I think sometimes it says in and outs down the bottom of that page. Check that, because he might.
No news there. But look, Savage is not there. Look, I'm going.
Was he suspended? Maybe. I don't know. The last time was 34-10, Scotty, to the Broncos.
Yeah,
that's a 24-point victory in round 7.
Yeah,
last year.
I think it'll be tighter. Where was that? Where was that game?
That was at Suncorp.
Yeah, look, this will be closer. They've got to travel the Broncos. I just think their heads will be screwed on. They'll go back to just running that tight game and want to muscle over Canberra. Canberra will want to play them in the forwards. And
so they're not as going to be as elusive as what you're saying, the Broncos.
Oh, look, it could be 24-16 or something like that.
So 1-12?
Yeah, 1-12 Broncos.
I'm agreeing with you on that one.
I'm going...
first-time try scorer?
I'm going Dane Mariner.
Cobbo was value last week if you had him 3 tries or 2 tries, plus 2 tries.
In one half.
Yeah. Wow. He nearly scored 4. But anyway, so you're going for Reece Walsh, did you say?
No, Dane Mariner.
Dean Mariner at 225.
Yep.
Always respected there at those odds. Give me 2 more so they can have 2 split legs. Because we don't really advise you to go the 3 legs because they're very, very hard to get.
Go
up, 1 and 1.
I think it'll be a forward try, and I'm tossing up on Josh Papali or Hudson Young. Let's go Hudson Young.
Can I look at the price for Hudson Young?
Mm-hmm.
Not the most prolific try scorer, but if he gets close to the line, you're going to get 350.
Yep.
So that's not too bad, Scotty.
And my other one.
Tell us about Corey Pace, because he scored last week. Seems to be a good.
That was off Payne Huss's offload. He's brilliant, but he gets limited time on the park as well.
How do you rate Jordan Ricky as a fan?
He's a good runner. He's a good player. They got an awesome forward pack like that,
and they're big boys.
Carrigan's a weapon.
Piakora,
Piakora, well,
giant.
He came on last week and got sin binned. He was on there for 11 seconds.
Wasn't that a classic?
Sin binned, and there was less than 10 minutes in the game left, and
he was just in shock on the sideline. It was a classic.
He just went inside, took his socks off.
Didn't you feel sorry for him?
His shorts in, folded them up, and he used them this week. They won't even hit the washing machine.
Well, look, it was just a reaction. You know,
it's nothing serious.
No, but I mean, professional foul is a professional foul. Mate. Xavier Willison is 4-1. You're still not buying into him. You think he's so lethal near the line, but
he's lost a lot of weight. He looks the part.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I'm.
How do you rate Corey Jensen? You being a
massive worker, massive. He is that he'll come on for Corey Pace. So they got a good bench, Brisbane, far out. Piakora, Williamson, Jensen, and Billy Walters, and then Billy Walters is another one. Like they got these.
How is that pass from Billy Walters? Like the torpedo pass, torpedo cutout pass right to the wing,
and with no momentum on the spot, just catch and deliver. Like
it was good.
But you're talking Ben Hunt, and you're talking Adam.
It's definitely a premiership side.
Ben Hunt, Adam Reynolds, Corey Pace.
Yep.
And then your Billy Walters and Corey Jensen. It's like you've got 5 in Piakura.
There's no excuse.
Wilson.
No excuses this year.
They can run the 80 minutes, and then you've got Payne Haas's impact. Oh, yeah. They're a good side.
Well, he's a monster.
And I'm biased. Look, geez.
I was just thinking of something before you got here from the South Coast. Wouldn't it be beautiful to see a Cronulla Brisbane grand final without Penrith even making it, as a hypothetical? I wouldn't be too far wrong at saying if they met each other can they meet each other in the grand final, in the semi-final? Broncos and Penrith, and Penrith don't even get in the grand final. Then all our pain would be taken away.
I'd rather as a Broncos
You'd rather
supporter,
beat them in the grand final.
I'd rather play Penrith in the grand final than play Storm
To seek the revenge.
I want to see Penrith and Storm fight each other in a major preliminary going into the grand final. And
Storm are on the revenge trail, aren't they? Yeah. After last week. Can I have you mentioned to you about Cameron Munster? He nearly scored. But one thing, what happened to your Papaneas? And he threw the dummy. Munster was under the post, mate. Oh, screw it, go! Oh no,
Papa,
and he blew it.
Don't pass that ball, Papa. I've called Munster to be lame this week. Do not pass the ball to him. I want you to hog it, just like Reece Walsh did. Did you see when Reece Walsh beat about 6 Roosters players, ran across his 3 Broncos supporters, and then threw it back in when the fullback tapped it? Wow.
But I reckon they might have had a bet.
He just runs around like a chicken with his head cut off.
I reckon they had a bet, Pappy and Munster, because he's a cheeky bugger, Munster, isn't he?
Now, a good player, mate.
But last week you sort of you knocked him down a bit,
Munster.
Yeah, because I thought he was a good try scorer. But so you apologising to me this week or not? Because now you're saying he's a great player. Well, I think he's on a revenge tour, don't you?
Oh, I think he's just coming back from his injury.
Yeah.
And, he was a bit lame last year in the grand final, so he disappointed me. I'm hard.
But he wasn't 100% fit, was he?
No, he wasn't last year in the grand final, but they weren't well prepared. I thought it was the worst performance from a
they left it. Yeah, they left it on the field. It was horrible. Can I mention one thing about Reece Walsh?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty skinny, $1.75, $1.55 Cobbo. Let's go to 2 try scores for Cobbo. There's a bit of value there, $3.25. That could be an option.
Mm-hmm.
But yet again, he's got to cross the line twice. I think if you're taking any of these $1.65 as a punter, if you're taking any of these $1.65, $1.55 shots, at least, and they're prolific try scorers like the Flying.
Now with
that the value is 2 tries,
and with Ben Hunt hitting the short side, and that vision with Ben Hunt and what
a great combination. Look, that's why I'm saying to you, I had this feeling that Broncos are going to be so strong this year. This game's a very good test for them. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And Teddy Tedesco last week was great to see him. I told you,
shell-shocked. I
said to you he was nowhere. I said he had his handouts with the Australian side. He was nowhere. He sat deep there and he goes, okay, left and right. I'm trying to cross the road. I'm going to get hit by a truck. Do I look left and see Adam Reynolds, or do I look right and see Ben Hunt? So I'll go to Ben Hunt. They went to Reynolds. So I go to Reynolds. They went to Ben Hunt. Like, it's just...
It was Frogger.
Right? Tedesco, Frogger.
Classic Tedesco's Frogger. Okay, I'm going to throw in a bit of a doozy here from my anytime try scorer. I'm going Albert Hopewati at $2.25.
Without the finger? Dad? Without the finger?
Leave Dad out of it. These young boys are very good players, let me say.
That will never...
Be kind to your mother. Remember what I said last week?
No.
Your mother's looking. Okay?
Don't inherit your father's antics, please.
Oh, if my father's antics, we'd already have a warning. He was a mad bikie, my old man. He had a 750 Triumph, and he said, I'm going to sell it before the kid grows up. Put him into football. Thank God he did.
You won't want to know what I'm thinking, because end up we'll have every point's a winner. Warning: parental supervision required.
Yeah. Oh, we can do that. Yeah, but we're not going to go crash. We're going to go keep it nice and professional.
Have we finished with Broncos and Raiders?
Nearly. I'm just giving you my second lead. I'm going to chuck him in with Sebastian Kris for Canberra. Is that okay?
What sort of a name is that?
It doesn't matter. Did you see him in that first game against the Warriors?
Sebastian went really well.
Sebastian Kris at $3.75. There's a bit of value there for you, folks.
2 first names.
Ethan Strange. is another one. You're talking about Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. All right, Scotty, get on to the next match, please. But there, you've heard it from my double there, my double and treble.
Okay, so
The next match is a
for
classic.
all of our listeners, warning: parental supervision required. Atlas Funds.
Alan Fun
Alan Fun,
from Canberra, Canberra,
who lives in Parramatta.
Yeah,
Mr. Combat Stadium.
Some people call him Aramata.
Now, knowing these Atlas guys,
what are you expecting this week?
They could very likely crucify me and come out with a barnstorming performance at home and beat the Tigers,
especially at home.
At home, and their pride's on the line. 64 points.
Can we mention something? This is the replay of the Wooden Spoon playoff. That's what it is, which reminds me it was 60 to 26 in round 27.
So,
but this is a different West Tigers team.
It is. They should have won last week, but they only managed 8 points. Now,
that's got to be a worry.
When they turn around and say a side has got all these issues, there's this, there's that, they lost by 60, now they've lost Dylan Brown, right? I think as footballers, they'll rally up, and I'm going for Parramatta this week in a tight one. I'm tipping Parramatta.
You don't think it'll be a revenge from the Tigers?
No.
Okay.
I think Parramatta will win.
What do you think is going to be the difference? The home ground support or not? Maybe if it was at Campbelltown, it might be a little bit different.
I just still think the Tigers are going to find it tough.
Okay.
And I think, very rarely does a team back up, lose by 60 points and not have a serious look at themselves.
Fair enough too, buddy.
And the Tigers may go in there thinking, you know what, they got pumped by 60, this will be easy.
Yeah, well, hopefully they don't. You've still got the reps on the coach there, haven't you?
Who, Benji? Or
Riles? Benji.
They're both good blokes, Jason Riles and Benji Marshall. But Benji was disappointed. You could see they should have won that game last week.
Yeah,
the support they had and how that crowd was, and all the raptures and the roars for Luai and their buys at their home ground.
On that point, I think you can see Newcastle playing very nervously. Bradman Best doesn't usually play nervous.
No. They were very tentative.
Yeah. And I think it was that build-up, that mad hype that eventually got to them psychologically. So let me get back to the a guy that scored for me last week, Skelton. I think he's too short this week at $1.70. And I think, can I give you my value tip of the week?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's off the bench. I know you don't like putting the anytime try scorers off the bench, but I think he's finally going to stand up for Cronulla. I thought he came from Cronulla. He's finally going to stand up for the Tigers. Royce Hunt,
I
think, is lethal against the Parramatta side that's not tackling at the moment.
The shoulders on that guy. Oh, my God.
He trains down my pool at Hurstville Aquatic Leisure Centre.
What do they give him?
Big shout out to Royce Hunt.
3 lanes to swim.
He's a big fella. But I'll tell you what, he moves a lot of water too. He's big all over. But I think you'll get the value there at $4.75. That's the value of the week.
Well,
but he's not going to get the full game. That's the only problem.
Well, that's where I think the Tigers have got an advantage, is in their bench. They've got Royce Hunt, they've got Silva, they've got Jack Bird, and Sione Fainu. But I don't know. I just think with Zach, I'm tipping Zach Lomax to score this week. Right?
Finally.
Yeah.
They're not putting him on the wing. He's still in the centre.
And I'm going to go...
That worries me.
I'm going to go Zach Lomax into Lachlan Galvin.
Lachlan Galvin?
Yep.
What price we got for
Galvin
here? Just have to open up this extra page here. Lachie Galvin is $3.25. Yep. He is not a prolific try scorer. We did mention that last week.
And then into Junior Paulo for Parramatta. I reckon they're going to muscle up.
Hang on, you tipped Junior Paulo last week and he did nothing. But he's not.
This is not Melbourne Storm in Melbourne, mate.
That's true. But he's not a prolific try scorer.
This is a side that let...
I'm just giving you the leg up, right? Because prolific try scorers will score virtually every week like Dominic Young. And you really need one of those legs to get up so you can have the next 60 minutes to ride home your second leg. Then you can have your non-prolific try scorer, a bit like Ben Hunt went in last week where he doesn't
Great
score
value,
that much,
great value.
but great value.
All right. Zomax, Adam Dewey.
Zomax.
Zomax.
That's a new. I think that's what they should call him until he gets back to the wing.
Zomax.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
It's a Dr. Seuss Lomax.
Classic. No, you don't like Sean Russell?
No.
Don't like him?
No. I still think Eels are going to win this game.
Okay. Now, Penasini, we must congratulate him for getting us off the bottom of the barrel last week in our tipping.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Penasini, which is not much value this week. He's $2, but he's still $2.90 as my main leg into that great value. Royce Hunt. Now, the third leg, he's back from suspension. Api Coruscant, I think, is going to score from dummy half.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good value there. Value all over the park there, I think.
Is he over $3 for that?
Yeah, three. Yeah, Api Coruscant is $3.50, brother. So who are you going, mate, for your ATTS, anytime try scorer?
Zach Lomax.
Oh, the Zomax, yep. Okay, who's not much value. Not too bad, $2.75.
Adam Dewey.
You'd feel better if he was on the wing, wouldn't you?
Adam Dewey.
Well, Dewey let you down last week, bro.
I know he
when
did.
I gave you Skelton.
And I'm going Junior Paulo again.
I'm just looking for Dewey's price here. You love tipping that Junior Paulo. We're going to have to give you we're going to have to give you 11 when you keep on tipping him in and he doesn't score, that guy. I may have egg on my face next week, right?
Well, I'm like Parramatta. I'll tell you about egg, right? Yellow and blue. Yellow.
I'm tipping Tigers. I am.
Oh, that's just that your heart or your head saying that?
That's my head.
Yeah, okay. Well, I
think Parramatta were too awful. Yeah, they showed us a bit in the second half.
I'm going to make a statement here. If Parramatta...
What are you going to wear? Are you going to eat a banana or give a banana award?
Certainly won't sit on it, let me tell you. But if Parramatta don't beat the Tigers this weekend, I'm tipping Parramatta all year.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? Look at the camera and tell them that.
I am not going to tip Parramatta. If they lose this weekend, I am not going to tip Parramatta.
For the whole year?
For the whole year in my tips.
Even if they're against East?
Even if they're against the Roosters, I'll back the Roosters.
All right, I'm holding you to that.
I hold grudges.
Okay.
But I'm giving them a second chance.
Can I just say one thing? I think it's because you hate Will Brown. What's his name? Brown.
Dylan Brown.
Dylan Brown. I think you despise him.
Look, I don't hate anyone. I mean,
I didn't think you did.
Better do.
I don't think you like him though.
Yeah,
can I say that?
Those sort of people, you still want him to be a mate, so you can ask him for a loan. He's got 14 mil now, hasn't he?
That's unbelievable. It's still the biggest shake-up we've had in the season so far. Is there going to be a bigger story than that? Like money-wise? Surely not.
Depends on what I said about Lachlan, Calvin and Luai.
Yeah,
see how long the Roosters have those, the Tigers have those guys for come November this year.
Do you think Roosters need to make a couple of big buys as well?
Definitely.
For the following season?
Yep.
It's going to be a tough year for them and a tough year for Robbo.
Yeah.
And is that the last game or?
No, last game's on Sunday, and we've got the Titans who are sitting at $2.92.
Oh, this is a good game.
Down against the Doggies.
Yep. At a sold-out Belmore Stadium. Yeah,
look, I'm tipping Dogs. I think they were a bit rusty last week. They'll only get better, and this is the Titans' first appearance. They had to buy in the first round, so they've had an extra long season.
They had a really good trial.
One pre-season.
A bit of false flagging.
Yeah, so look, I've got to go to the Dogs there. Jeez.
You saw that stupid incident. I don't condone stupid incidents like that idiot on YouTube or whatever it was that threw the pie at the Belmore support. Just go to the game and watch the footy, mate. You know,
you're a dickhead, mate. You're an absolute dickhead.
Take your attitude with you, mate, and run into a brick wall and then see how you go there.
You know, you're not allowed to threaten violence, but give yourself.
No, man. You can still have good banter and all that, and have a few jokes, but don't be a cock. You know, and I just wanted to mention that because that was how that guy got any likes. So hopefully the police do deal with him because you're a dickhead, mate. Yeah, I think Sherry's going to have a blinder here in front of his home crowd. Bronson Sherry. He looked like doing some damage last week. And don't forget who's back from suspension, or it's Josh Curran who's off the bench. He's a mad workhorse, that guy.
He's got a mullet on him, and his hair.
Incredible, mate. I think he's going to join Guns N' Roses after his football career.
Well, he's going to come off the bench, but look who's his opposite in David Fafita.
Yeah,
coming off the bench. So
he's lethal.
Look, I'm going doggies 1 to 12. I still think this Titans side it could be
they're an attacking side.
It could be 20 points each for these guys.
Yeah,
these teams.
I'm seeing a score like that actually,
which is no different than 28 or whatever with the Dragons last week for the doggies.
How disappointed do you think Serraldo was with letting St George back into that match? I know they lost Crichton at that vital stage, and Little come on and destroyed them, but that would have been disappointing for a guy who prides himself on defence.
That was soft.
Yeah.
That was soft. So, look, I don't know. It's a hit and miss game. It's 50-50. Titans, it'll be the...
I'm looking at 26-18 maybe, 26-14.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, something like that. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but...
They got too much of a good side.
This side can attack. JJ Gibson, Campbell, JJ Fafita.
Bo Fermor. All right, so can I just say my two boys?
Yeah.
Let's get to that game so we can look at the odds, and then we're finished for today. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to like and subscribe. Please subscribe so we have some content and we have some homework to do, and we'll keep you informed when we're podcasting. Usually every Thursday. If Scotty can't make it for his work commitments, I'll be doing it by myself and giving Scotty's and Peter's tips. I've got a bit of a freeze here with my sports tab. Have you got a sports tab on there?
Come on and have a chat.
I think PC's too busy painting the Sydney Opera House with his charm.
That's what.
Well, he is the head of security down there, isn't he?
Well, knowing PC,
I got a freeze on my phone.
You know when you paint the Harbour Bridge and you go from one end, and when you get to the other end, you really got to get back to the other.
No, that's.
I reckon
that's
PC is such a smart man that instead of having one of them big, thick brushes, he'd have one of those little thin brushes, and he'd be like this, like dabbing, like on each of the tiles, painting the roof of the opera. Yeah.
And he'd have his binoculars out.
Yeah.
No comment on the binoculars. They're my old race calling binoculars. I took them to Menangle for the Miracle Mile last year with Vic, one of our close friends.
Love your PC.
Well, I got a freeze on my phone, mate. I can't get the tab. But anyway, can you see what price Bronson Sherry is?
No, I won't give you the prices here on the try scoring. Give
me one more second. I've got a total freeze on my phone. And I just charged it up recently. So look at that. It's just, it won't close the. Oh, hang on. I'll close the footy tab.
You can't
and I'll open it again.
You can't expect our podcast to pay these sort of bills, mate.
Well, no, we need some sponsors, but it might take a year or two to get some sponsors.
Who do you think would sponsor us?
Mannheim?
No, not my work. Jeez,
no,
they don't even sponsor me a good wage. But
no, Mannheim. Oh, I think maybe TAB. If our tips keep on, our tips have been fantastic. They've been right on the money.
Well, with our props, with lemons and bananas, it could be a fruit shop, maybe Toys R Us, something like that. Eh?
Toys R Us, but these are awards that are given out every week.
We're open to offers.
The cone.
Oh,
that's Willsie's trick. Remember old Stephen Willsie? Get in there, mate. Stop. You know what? Around. Okay. A big shout out to Stephen Wills. Whether you're still going, brother. I ran into him about 3 or 4 years ago. He goes, Phillips, hit me. Phillips, hit me. I never known a friend that wanted to be hit more than Stephen Wills. You'd see him at a party, he goes, Scotty, hit me. What was that? Was it your 21st? At South Juniors?
Yeah, it was
a mad food fight that I missed. But I took off. I had other commitments after having dinner with you, but I missed the food fight. But Willsey said to you and said to me,
South Sydney Junior Leagues Club, Chinese restaurant.
did you have to pay for that?
No,
They didn't get you to pay for the damage.
no.
You're a lucky boy, Scotty. Lucky boy. I'm onto the sports tab now, so let's have a look at that just before we finish the podcast here, because we definitely want to find the value here. It's the last match. Bulldogs are $1.44, Gold Coast $2.80. If you're tipping the Bulldogs, are you tipping them by 13 plus or 1 to 12?
1 to 12.
Or both covering 1 to 12 and 13 plus?
Yeah, it could be either.
Okay. Give me your anytime try score and I'll give you the value here, Scotty. Your anytime try scorers. If you have any idea, I can tell you.
You're going to see no value in Grimson, but how about I'll just
Joe
throw out
Fafita's
one.
$2.30.
Jojo Fafita.
Yeah, good value.
Toby Sexton.
Toby Sexton. He does score occasionally. He's not your prolific try scorer, but you'll get a bit of value with Tobes. Let me just have a look here. Toby Sexton. Oh, 4 to 1. Yeah. He hasn't scored for about 3 or 4 matches, but that's he can do it. So into 4 to 1. You don't need to give me value for the second leg, but I want a second leg. Let me go down here so you can see the Gold Coast dudes as well.
How about I go off the bench, David Fafita?
David Fafita off the bench.
Yeah, he's going to get half an hour.
There's that risk. Half an hour. So you're taking the risk like I did with Royce Hunt.
He'll get half an hour.
You get half an hour? And you don't like Jojo Fafita?
No, David Fafita.
Yeah, I know that. How many Fafitas are there?
Are you forcing my hand here? Or?
I'm trying to lead you into a possible second or third leg. Now, can I just say that I like Jaden Campbell? How quick and elusive is he? He sort of reminds me of Benji Marshall when he puts on that magic step. Would I be wrong in saying that?
What?
Jaden Campbell is great value, mate. You know what we should do? Link your tip to my tip. What was your tip again? Have you forgotten already?
David Fafita.
Yeah. For my second leg, I've got Crichton, and it's the fourth leg back up because I'm a Bulldogs fan as well. I would say Josh Curran off the bench. Another risky bet. You've got to watch out if you bring players that aren't playing the full 80 minutes. And you're sort of going, please, is he on? You have to look at the NRL website and say, oh, man, he's taking him off. Like, if that's your main leg you're waiting for, you're going, please put him on for the last 20. Like, it's risky. So, your tip of the week, and we have the Oracle. The Oracle come out with the tip of the week.
Parramatta to beat the Tigers.
Oh, no.
Head-to-head, Parramatta to beat the Tigers to turn the 60-point loss and embarrassment around, and the Tigers to have Luai at the end go, it was tough last week, and the team that just got flogged by 60, we still couldn't beat them. It's
can I have, this is another prayer. I'm praying for my favourite player, Bradman Best. Don't do your hammy, bro.
No double movements, bro.
No double movements, mate. You should know, but he's got pin. He can't help himself. He's scoring that much. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Join us. Remember to hit like and subscribe. Comments, if they're really bad, yeah, we'll still look at them. But if they're constructive, we'll answer you back. And join us next week and for another round. And hopefully all our tips get up like last week. And the value is there. We've given you heaps of value this week. So TAP, come on board. Knock on our door, knock on yours. Until next week, Scotty, have a lovely weekend and best of tipping, best of footy.
All the best. And don't throw meat pies. Don't throw meat pies.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead. Be a good person and always respect your mother. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Good, Scotty. Good stuff, man. You okay?
Yeah.
How's the knee?
Oh, still sore, mate.
I'll just hit stop here now. Stop.
All right. That was all right.
Done. Yes, buddy. Bit of fun as well. That was. Can you help me move this back?
Yeah.
Oh, you're wearing a set? You're wearing loose?
Yeah, I took my shoes off because I get hot.
Oh, okay.
And I breathed.
Okay. Yeah, you're feeling some breathing. Have you got anything? You going back to Young this weekend, bro?
I don't know if I'll make it to Young this week. I might stay home.
Yeah, it's a long drive, isn't it? 4 hours there.
4 hours there.
4 hours back.
4 hours back on a Sunday night. And then...
Oh, Sunday night's not good to come back from anywhere because everyone's coming back.
Yeah, and then you're 4 hours. Then you go to bed at 10 o'clock and then you're getting up Monday morning to work and you're going, well, fuck, where was my weekend?
Yeah.
I just want to go to fucking line.
She remember you were thinking of coming down the south coast that didn't eventuate?
Well, she's got the pups there, so she's got the dogs.
Oh, she's a breeder, isn't she?
She's got those little 3 puppies, so.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Thank you for everything, man.
You're welcome, brother. Love you, bud. Love you, bud. Love you.
Yeah, love you too.
It's good fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, man.
No.
You need to.
Yeah.
Drive safely, buddy.
Well, catch you later.
I'll probably get. I don't think it needs trimming. I can put it straight on, man.
Yeah.
And if the vocals all right, I won't overdub the vocals until later.
Seriously about that shot the leaf black over the black.
Well, it has to be. That was a pop thing to do. No matter who. And
actually shot why not white and then shot.
he might say, here, cops come to arrest me.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, cops say. So, buddy.